Okay, I gotta do. Where are you? Let's do this and that. I actually got Sunday Night Football. Looks like it's gonna be interesting. I ain't streaming that though. I got work in the morning. I can't be here all night doing this. I just gotta say my piece. Oh, no, never mind. That's not where I needed to go. Gotta say my piece. We're gonna try to keep this as short as possible, I guess. Oh, okay, so you just like that. Okay, that's cool. Okay, you take that. You take that. You take that. Where is this? Oops. All right. Should be good to go. Gotta say a few things. And we'll call it here. Y'all know how it is. It's our recap for the game. Very interesting game. Actually, I'm not going to say it was really interesting. It was a dominant performance, which the Ravens usually have for much of the season. There's things that you can improve on, but hey, you won 41-10. You kind of take that how it goes. And all right, I am good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? What is good? How you guys doing? It's time for the recap here. Broncos Ravens recap. I'm going to be honest, there is not much to talk about this game. There really isn't much. Ravens got the 41-10 victory, which is cool. You go to 6-3, give yourself a chance to be one step closer to clinching a playoff spot. But there's not much to really look at this game. There's not much to really take away from this game. Not to mention, you can't even focus on this game anymore. Because you have a short week, you immediately have to turn your attention to Cincinnati, who's coming to Baltimore to play on Thursday Night Football. You have a short week. So you get what? I don't even know if they're going to get a day off. You may get a day off Monday. Tuesday you practice. Wednesday you might get a walkthrough. And then Thursday you're playing the game. I don't even know how they do their practices here. Either way, there's no time to really look at this win and celebrate. If you want to celebrate, it's up to you. You got to immediately turn your attention now to the Cincinnati Bengals. They took care of the Las Vegas Raiders. They're 4-5 on the season. Obviously, their season's on the line, and they're coming to Baltimore. We had played them early in the season when both our seasons were in a very, very bad situation. We ultimately got the win, which led to a continuation of our 5-game winning streak, which was broken last week against the Cleveland Browns. And then Cincinnati, they've had some ups and downs. Ups where they were winning when they won 3 straight games. Down when they ended up losing to Philadelphia. And then up again now with them beating the Las Vegas Raiders. This game is crucial. It's important. This will be their second division. Actually, it'll be their third divisional game because they beat the Browns. It'll be their third divisional game. They're 1-1 in the division. If they win this one, they'll go to 5-5 in the season. They'll officially be back at 500, and they'll be 2-1 in the division, which is huge. If they lose, they'll be 1-2 in the division, but they'll be 4-6, and that's really going to hurt their chances to make the playoffs. They probably need 10 wins to make the postseason, so they have to be able to show up and pull off a tough win in Baltimore for Thursday Night Football. But that's a situation that we got to deal with when we got to deal with. That's a different conversation. We'll talk about the Bengals when we got to talk about the Bengals. We got to talk about this game tonight, and there's not much to really speak on. Offensively, they did their job. Offense came out here and for much of the game did whatever they wanted to do. They had that early situation where they ended up having to punt the ball because Lamar got sacked in a situation where the Broncos rushed 3 and still got to Lamar, so that was embarrassing. But after that, the Ravens kind of just gained their composure offensively and just did what they did. The Ravens can score 30 points against any team in the National Football League when they actually put their talent to use. And you saw that here today. Lamar Jackson putting up his 4th career perfect passer rating. He's now tied with Ben Roethlisberger all time with 4 games of a perfect passer rating. Lamar 16-19, 280 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, QBR of 97, passer rating of 158.3. I mean, he was sensational. Derrick Henry did his thing on the ground, 23 carries, 106 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception. He also had a reception that went for like 27. Yeah, he had a reception on the screen that went for 27 yards. So Derrick Henry did his thing for the most part. Zay Flowers continues to play well. He's actually 4th in the league in receiving yards right now. He's at, 654? 5 catches, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers is a top 10 receiver right now. Zay Flowers is a top 10 receiver right now, and it's crazy to see. I mean, the offense did what they needed to do. Lamar was great. Henry was great. Flowers was great. Guys did what they needed to do. They made plays here and there. Got to be happy with what you saw from the Ravens offense. There's not much to really talk about there. Legitimately, there's not much to talk about there. The Ravens didn't turn the ball over once in this game. There was 2 fumbles, but they didn't lose them. They recovered them. But yeah, they didn't turn the ball over once. They put up 41 points of offense. They look good. The only concerns you have is the concerns you've been having all season, which has been ignored because when the Ravens are winning and putting up points, nobody seems to talk about it. But the Ravens' offensive line is still a bit of an issue. It played well for most of this game. They had an early mishap with that first drive. But other than that, the Ravens' offensive line did a relatively good job in this game. However, the concerns need to be there. The signs are there. And the fact that people keep ignoring the signs is the problem. When they go up against a really great pass rushing unit, or they go up against a good pass rushing unit with an elite pass rusher, the Ravens offensive line struggles. And the way Todd Monken responds is by mixing and matching up and kind of adding extra protection, shifting the offensive line. He does everything he can to hide some of the deficiencies we will see with the offensive line. You hope it doesn't come back to bite them, but we've seen moments where it will come back to bite them. This should have been a game where the Broncos should have stuck to their identity more defensively. They're a team that likes to blitz and put the pressure on the quarterback. They really didn't do that. Now, I'm pretty sure a big part of why they chose not to do that is because of the fear that they had that Lamar was going to carve them up. Because Lamar has been one of the best, if not the best quarterback in football this year when it comes to taking on the blitz. So there's a good chance that Denver didn't want to take a chance with blitzing Lamar and then he just carves them up and there's nothing you can do. Because he's just getting the ball out of his hands quickly and they're getting huge chunks of yardage because Lamar is reading where the blitz is coming, noticing where he needs to go with the ball and getting it out quickly. Maybe they just didn't want to deal with that, which is why they moved off of the blitz. But it's tough to deal with Lamar Jackson that can handle anything because the main issue in previous years under these systems that he's run is that there hasn't been a response for the blitz. Lamar at times will do good with the blitz and he'll do bad at the blitz. But in previous years, they didn't really have a response to the blitz. This year, they have a response to the blitz, and Lamar's recognizing every blitz package they're throwing out there. So you can't really blitz him and assume he's not going to know where to go with the football. He's been doing a great job with that. So that's probably an aspect that caused them to be in fear. But at the same time, while Lamar's been great against the blitz, Lamar, for much of his career, has been eating up zone coverage. Like, if you play zone, he's going to find a soft spot. Whether it's to Mark Andrews or whether it's to Zay Flowers or wherever. He's perfectly fine dealing with zone coverage. He's perfectly fine dealing with man coverage. If you turn your back to him, he can take off and use his legs. And now you're seeing him beat the blitz. So it's becoming damn near impossible to really stop Lamar when he's in his groove. The only thing you can do is to try to get the ball out of his hands quickly and hope he makes a mistake, or you got to put enough pressure, keep him in the pocket, put enough pressure, and hope that their offensive line collapses to the point where Lamar has no space to do anything. So you're really going to have to exploit the Ravens' offensive line if you want to beat them down the stretch. Unfortunately, there is a team that knows how to do that, and they reside in Kansas City, but that's a different conversation. There's also another team that has the capabilities of doing that. We'll see them in a few weeks in the Pittsburgh Steelers. But yeah, other than that, they came out here with an aspect of like not blitzing Lamar, and that's not going to solve the problem. Now, blitzing him isn't going to solve the problem either, but not blitzing him is also not going to solve the problem. Also, the defense came in with the focus of stopping Derrick Henry and just choosing to let Lamar air it out, which again didn't really help them out. With the way Lamar's been playing this year, it's tough for defenses to really figure out where they're going to want to really try to limit the Ravens. They'll always try to stop the run, but when Lamar's doing what he's doing in the passing game, what are you supposed to do? Like Lamar says, it's a pick your poison offense. You want to take away the run, that's cool. You want to cover our receivers, we got the tight ends. They will find a way to exploit your weakness offensively. And Lamar is carving defenses up right now. So it's such a tough situation to be in if you're a defender. But yeah, other than the offensive line, there's nothing to talk about in terms of concerns for the Ravens. Their offensive is explosive. One of the best offenses in football. They're explosive. Lamar's playing the best football of his career. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer someday. We already know that. So he's just balling out and doing what he can do to get this team to the postseason and hopefully get them to the Super Bowl. So yeah, 41-10, offensive dominance. Not much to speak about there. They continue to do what they need to do. You hope they can tweak that offensive line, but other than that, there's nothing to really talk about from an offensive standpoint. From a defensive standpoint, there's plenty of things to talk about. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, when you look at the final score, you see 10 points given up. And that has to be credited. I think you give the defense credit for how they performed today. But you only give them credit for what they did in this game. And in terms of holding them to under 10 points. But past that, if you watched the game and you saw the defense played, the defense gave up a lot of big plays. I think another thing you have to look at for the game plan that Sean Payton came into it, defensively they had their game plan, which didn't work out, wasn't going to work out in the first place. But offensively, they came in with an aggressive mindset and aggressive game plan. If you saw how the first two drives ended for the Broncos, you would see first drive, they are moving the ball down the field against the Ravens defense. They get into Ravens territory. What do they proceed to do? They get stopped on fourth down. It's 4th and 1 inside the Ravens 40-yard line around there. They choose to run a toss on 4th and 1 against one of the best running defenses in football. If there's anything the Ravens defense does good, it's stop the run. They ran a toss on 4th and 1. Ravens defense shuts it down. They get the ball back on their second possession. They go down the field once again. They get into Ravens territory. 4th down and 4 now. Ravens defense makes stop. They go for it on 4th down. The Ravens decide to blitz. You have a receiver open. He gets past Millette. He's open. Bo Nix overthrows him. Pressure's coming. There wasn't that much pressure that was really coming. He was able to step into the throw if he just would have waited a little bit more. But he overthrows his receiver, incomplete, turnover on downs. So the offense hurt themselves in these moments, but the defense definitely did play somewhat of a bend but don't break type defense. I think this is the best you can hope for the Ravens defense. They're not going to shut people down. Another thing that has to be mentioned. Second possession was when the 4th down happened with the toss. Third possession is when the 4th down happened with the incomplete pass in the end zone. The very first possession, there was a pick. My mistake. I'm sorry I forgot the interception. Very first throw Bo Nix had got tipped, picked off by Ardarius Washington, and our offense didn't do anything with it. That's when Lamar got sacked on 3rd down. So first 3 possessions, interception, turnover on down, turnover on down. You give credit to the defense for doing a good job to start this game against Bo Nix and that Broncos offense that was playing good football the last few weeks. But then they get another one of these possessions, and of course you're not going to hold them off forever. They do march down the field, and on I believe, what was it, 3rd and goal or 4th and goal? Did they go for it on 4th down? Either way, they run the Philly special, and Bo Nix catches a touchdown pass from Sutton. Marcus Williams was on the coverage there. He had a chance to make a stop. He did not make a stop. That was a bit embarrassing. It was a 10-7 game after that. Defense made stops the first 3 times, but then proceeded to give that up. It's nasty, but, Ravens now would it be in a 10-7 game. What does the offense do? They go down the field, score a touchdown. Derrick Henry gets in the end zone, makes it 17-7. And then from that point on, it just became the Ravens show. The Ravens defense was giving up a lot of yards, but they just weren't giving up points. That's similar to the 2017 defense. Bend but don't break. They wouldn't give up a lot of yards. I mean, they would give up a lot of yards. They wouldn't give up a lot of points, and they would have a lot of turnovers. They only had one turnover in this game, so it is what it is. And they only got to Bo Nix twice. So take that however you want to take it. It is what it is at the end of the day. I'm sorry, they got to Bo Nix 4 times, excuse me, because those last 2 happened pretty much when the game was out of hand. But they did get to Bo Nix 4 times. They had 4 sacks. 2 of those was to Washington. Not to Washington, to Robinson. Robinson was the one that had 2 sacks. And then you see Harrison had 1 and Simpson had 1. But yeah, a couple things to say about the defense. It was good to see that they were bend but don't break. It was good to see that they were able to make stops on 4th down, even though they really struggled to make stops on 3rd down consistently. They made the stops on 4th down. It was good to see them get a turnover. It was good to see so many things. But they still do give up a lot of big plays in some of the most crucial moments where you're like, come on, man, you can't give that up in this situation. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of just what they do. It is what it is at the end of the day. They're going to give up big plays on 3rd down sometimes. They're not going to cover the middle of the field, which they didn't do in this game. They're going to give up a lot of yards. You just got to hope they hold up defensively. But the problem that we saw in this game at times was the fact that they specifically could not get to Bo Nix. And Bo Nix was utilizing the wheels in this game, man. He had a lot of moments where he was taking off and picking up yards with his legs. Bo Nix actually ran for 36 yards in this game. 6 carries, 36 yards. Bo Nix ran the ball really well. He didn't run the ball. He scrambled really well against the Ravens defense. They struggled with that, which is problematic because you have quarterbacks in the AFC that they'll have to potentially deal with in the postseason that you will have to match up with and deal with. Mahomes, we know about that. Allen, we know about that. You're going to get guys like that. So if you're not able to stop Bo Nix in these situations, on these 3rd down situations, in these situations where he's getting out of the pocket and scrambling, good luck trying to stop Mahomes or Allen. At least, oh my goodness, they fumbled the ball. And the Vikings got it. Colts can't have anything good. The Colts can't have anything good. But yeah, defensively, the fact that they still can't get to the quarterback is a problem. Brandon Stephens continues to be an issue because he's constantly getting beat. It's tiring, man. It is getting really tiring of watching Brandon Stephens be at the right place, at the right time, right next to the defender, yet he's not able to make the play. Like, buddy, it's cool that you're right there with the receiver. We want you to be right there with the receiver as a corner. But why is it that they're always making plays on you? That's a problem. And yeah, Jonathan Taylor just fumbled that ball. Flacco puts it right in his stomach and saying, hey, man, cradle this. And he just doesn't. The ball ends up getting bounced off his gut and just rolls and rolls and rolls, and the Vikings pick it up. Wasted. They were moving the ball well. They were in Vikings territory. It looked like they were going to get at least a field goal out of that drive. Wasted because a turnover happens in the worst possible situation. Terrible start for the Colts right there. Or unfortunate start for the Colts right there. But yeah, the defense still can't get to the quarterback when they need to in prime situations. They can't make stops on 3rd downs in prime situations. They struggle to cover the middle of the field. There are still some weaknesses with this Ravens defense. Give them credit. They held Bo Nix in the Broncos offense to 10 points. And the only touchdown they gave up was on a Philly special. So it was a trick play that they gave up a touchdown. Everything else, they made a stop. So credit to the Ravens defense. Technically, they did play better than they usually have. They gave up 10 points. Bo Nix had nearly 200. He had 159 or 160 yards passing in the first half. He finishes the game with 223 passing yards. Bo Nix on the game, 19 to 33, 223 passing yards, no touchdowns, an interception, QBR of 53, passer rating of 65. Cortland Sutton was getting his numbers. 7 catches, 122 yards. He was doing his thing, man. Guy was balling out. That's all that needs to be said. But other than that, if you look at it, I'm trying to calculate it right now in terms of what they gave up. They had 225 and then 122. I really could just do the math on my own, but I'm not going to do that right now. So the Ravens did a better job. They gave up 347 yards of offense. They were averaging giving up nearly 400 yards of offense. They held this quarterback to under 250 yards passing, and they gave up 122 yards total in the rushing aspect. It's crazy. Denver rushed for 122 yards. We rushed for 127. They threw for 225. Lamar threw for 280. It's weird how that works out. The yardage is not that much different between the two teams when you take a look at it. Yeah, just looking at it, yeah. Sorry, they had 319 yards because they had lost a couple yards on some of these plays. I didn't take the minuses that would take. Ravens had 396 yards of total offense. Denver had 319. So it's not the worst situation in the world. They did give up 20 first downs to the Broncos, but we had 25. And in the time of possession is actually really close, 31-28. Another thing that has to be discussed, which, again, I don't blame some of these on them because some of these were very questionable, but others was just like, the penalties. I'll say good news. They only committed 6 penalties in this game. They only committed 6 penalties. So that at least helps out. They committed 6 penalties. You improved on that. But, some of those penalties shouldn't have happened, and at least one of those was not a penalty. I don't even know what they were talking about on that one. That was not a penalty. But yeah, the defense did their job. Held Bo Nix in the offense to 10 points, so they actually looked better. But in my opinion, one game isn't enough to convince anybody. I think the Ravens defense, first of all, Eric DeCosta, you have less than 48 hours to go get a pass rusher. It's clear as day it's needed. I want to repeat this. EDC, let me get my mic right here. EDC, you have less than 48 hours to get a pass rusher to Baltimore. I repeat, you have less than 48 hours to get a pass rusher to Baltimore. I think that's an aspect that has to be addressed because the Ravens cannot get pressure on quarterbacks. And I promise you, if you let Allen, if you let Burrow, if you let Mahomes, you let those threes just sit back there and have all the time in the world to make a play, they're going to cook your secondary. You got to get a pass rusher to get to these guys. So defense did a good job. At the same time, not people are going to look at it as majorly huge because they're doing it against a rookie quarterback. So it is what it is at the end of the day. I give credit to the defense for this game, but I'm not impressed. Nothing in this game made me overly impressed. The offense is explosive and the defense still has issues. I expected the Ravens to win. When they're going up against teams above 500, I don't have any fear. I believe they can win that game. It's when they're going up against these trash teams that they decide to just play down to their competition. It's a classic in the AFC North. The AFC North loves playing down the competition for absolutely no reason. So the next game that actually concerns me is the game against the Giants, because I know for some reason our offense is going to struggle against their defense, and they're not going to be able to stop Daniel Jones from taking off and utilizing his wheels. And Malik Neighbors is just going to cook Brandon Stevens. I can see it happening. The Ravens love to play down to their competition. It's annoying to deal with. It's really annoying to deal with. But they do this all the time. So nothing from this game overly impressed me. I expected to see this from them. With the offense they have, the weapons they have, you expect that. And the defense did their job, so credit to that. I thought they'd probably give it more points, but hey, they held them to 10. So good for them. But I think with the defense, you have to do it against better competition, or you have to do it consistently against better competition. You did it against good competition today, but you have to do this. I think the way the Ravens defense can redeem themselves is by continuing to play this way down the stretch. You've got Cincinnati on Thursday. You play them in 4 days. Thursday Night Football, you play Cincinnati. You have 10 days off, and then you play the Steelers in Pittsburgh November 17th. Those are 2 games where you can show your case. You can show your case. Matter of fact, the next 4 games, you have an opportunity to make a case. Cincinnati comes to Baltimore to play Thursday Night Football. You have 10 days off, and then you play the Steelers at Heinz Field. Then you get to play the Chargers on, I believe that's going to be, what is that going to be? Sunday Night Football? I believe you're going to play the Chargers on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. And then you've got the Eagles December 1st. So, and then after that, you go on your bye week. You have 4 games left before you get your bye week. Those 4 games, we're going to watch the defense very closely. Against Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, the Chargers, and the Eagles. Those are the next 4 games. We're going to watch this defense. If you want to redeem yourself, let's see how you play defensively against that. How do you play defensively against Joe Burrow? How do you play defensively against Russell Wilson? How do you play defensively against Justin Herbert? How do you play defensively against Jalen Hurts and those weapons Philly has? We're going to see. Those are your next 4 games. We know what the Ravens offense is going to do. What is the Ravens defense going to do to those quarterbacks and those teams? We're going to find out. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me here. I just wanted to give my brief talk about the game. There's not much to really speak of here. Not too much to talk about. Especially because we have to just kind of move on from this game and get ready for Cincinnati, because that's going to be a huge game. That's a battle right there. AFC North battle. We'll see how things go. So pretty much that's it for me. I could have made a video, but I like to get you guys involved in some of the live streams. So that's it for me. I'll read some of the questions, and then I'm going to head on out, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your night. This win shows me nothing. I don't think it was a game that was going to show anyone anything. I think at the end of the day, the defense has to prove themselves throughout the rest of the year. My plane right back to Florida is going to be enjoyable. Glad I came to see this blowout. Salute, keep it around. Hey, man, glad you got to go see the game. Yeah, it's on to Thursday night with the Bengals. Bengals are going to be very desperate. I don't know if they're really at this moment of desperation. I think actually part of me feels like they are because of what Burrow said. They have to win 7 of the last 9. They kind of know the standard. 10 wins is probably going to get them in the dance. Anything less than that, they're probably risking losing out via tiebreaker, because they just won't have the tiebreaker because they've lost to a lot of AFC teams already. So they're probably feeling the pressure. But I don't know if they're going to be incredibly desperate. Because of how things turned out when they faced off against Baltimore at home, at 41-38 thriller, if you're Cincinnati, you got to feel some level of some level of confidence that you could match up. You know you can go toe-to-toe with them. You did at home. So you got to feel some level of confidence that you can go out there on the road and do what Baltimore did to you when they came into your building. But we'll have to see. Prepare for a shootout on Thursday. There's a chance there's a shootout, but at the same time, we don't know if T. Higgins is going to play Thursday night. So, if you're not going to have both Higgins and Jamar Chase 100%, that could interfere with a shootout. But who knows? They'll still be able to find points offensively. As Sam Darnold runs for his life, fires, picked up, what the? Sam threw it right to the defender. Interception in the end zone for a touchback. Sam Darnold threw it right to the defender. He rolled to his left. What is he looking at? Oh my God. The defender standing right there, and Sam Darnold just threw it to him. What are you doing, Sam? Oh my God. There goes his MVP campaign. He threw it right to the defender. Oh my goodness. We play down to the competition. Hopefully we can clean that up. No, it's just an AFC North thing. They're not cleaning it up. Steelers do it all the time too. Cincinnati at times does it. They played down to the Giants on a primetime game and nearly put themselves in a position where they would have lost the game. If the Giants were competent, the Giants win that game. They also nearly lost to the Browns too, with Deshaun Watson playing in the first half. The receivers didn't drop the ball this game. Yeah, they made catches, man. They made catches. Team gets a good win, but still obvious issues with the defense. Yep, the offense great as always, except for the few drives that went nowhere due to the O-line selling, which has been an all-season issue. Yeah, there's just few issues with the team. I'll say this, though. No matter how you look at it, you're never going to have a perfect football team. You're just not. You can look at all the Super Bowl champions, man. They weren't perfect teams. You're going to have issues here and there. The difference is you got to make it work. And how you make it work and how you execute with some of these weaknesses ultimately determines how your season's going to go. So yes, the O-line is an issue and all this other stuff, but you're going to have problems no matter what. I'd rather fix some of the major problems and just deal with some of the other problems. The O-line is an issue at times, but we have Lamar Jackson. He's just got to make it work. We know Lamar Jackson, okay, the greatest dual-threat quarterback to play this game. We know what he's able to do. At the end of the day, he'll just roll out and make plays. So you just got to deal with what you got to deal with, man. You're never going to be able to fix every single issue. You will never be a perfect football team. I'd rather deal with the main problems, like pass rusher, and just say, hey, O-line, you'll just have to figure it out. It is what it is. You'll never be a perfect team. It is what it is. All the championship teams, none of them were ever perfect. You just got to go out there and make plays and execute when you need to. So the offensive line, they're going to have to execute the key situations. It just comes down to that. Bateman, the only wide receiver that dropped the pass today. Yeah, well, it's Bateman. It is what it is. Remember when Steve Young said put Lamar Jackson in a sophisticated pass offense? Yeah, I spoke about that for 2 years. Defense looks better with Humphrey back and Simpson balling out. Yeah, I mean, when you have one of the best corners in football back, you would look better defensively. I was worried after Bo Nix caught that touchdown pass. Many people were, just because they felt the defense was going to get cooked for no reason. Which, again, was perfectly validated because they had been playing bad. Come on, Flacco! Just checks the ball down. You're going to pick up a first down. That's nice. Can the defense consistently keep causing turnovers? I don't know. I have no clue. At this point, the defense needs to be bend but don't break because turnovers and cause turnovers. Other than that, I got no hope in them. So basically, they got to be the 2017 Ravens defense. Good luck with that. What's up with JT? Part of it is him, and the other part of it has to deal with the mechanics that we're seeing with Jordan Stout that's holding the ball for him. There's some technical issues with that. Tucker spoke about that too. There's been some technical issues with how Stout has been holding the ball. But also, I think there may be something with JT that he's not doing from a technical standpoint. It is what it is. Finally, a good challenge by Harbs. He gets a few of those every season, maybe once or twice, where he gets a good challenge. Interception on the first drive was nice. Yeah, that was a mistake by Denver, and they just actually caught the ball when it came to them. So good on Ardaeus Washington for getting the pick. Defense pass rush was a little better. Trent Simpson sack. I mean, it was better once the game was out of hand. Half of the sacks they got happened when we were already up double digit. But this defense needs to be able to generate pressure with the game on the line. Not when you're up by 20-plus points. All of a sudden, you get 2 sacks when you're up 38 to whatever or 41 to whatever. So it's cool to get those sacks. But half the sacks they got, Baltimore already had a major lead. In fact, I think they only had 1 sack maybe when the game was close. But the other 3 sacks, they already had like a double-digit lead at that point. So no, I'm not majorly impressed. Congrats on getting the sacks, but this team cannot generate pressure when they need to. It's about generating pressure in key situations when you need to make a stop. This defense has not showcased that they can do that. You would expect that playing against a rookie quarterback. Not really. I mean, Jaden Daniels played in Baltimore a few weeks back, and he had a great game. He put up 23 points against our defense. Had a great game, looked nice. Flacco missed the check down. No! They're going to have to punt the football. How many picks do we have in the next draft? 11. We need to trade them for someone. We have plenty of picks. I think we have 10 or 11 draft picks. We need to use some of those picks to get a trade going. EDC, time to get on the phone again. He better. Are you off Thursday night? Gonna be at the... Nah, I'm pretty sure I'm working Thursday night. But I might try to go to the game. I might pull up to this game because I've been thinking of going to a Ravens game this season. And I said the Cincinnati Bengals game is probably the one game I'll try to go. If it doesn't work out, I'll probably have to look for another game later on in the season. But the Bengals game is the one I wanted to go to. So I'm going to see. If I'm able to go Thursday night, I'll go Thursday night. If not, I'll be here with the stream and you guys can go have fun at M&T Bank Stadium. Man, our offense is still historically good, and the defense is so sorry. We do need a pass rush because Nix was having a picnic back there. He had all the time in the world. Can we trade Marcus Williams for Buddha, please? That's not how that works. Why would the... Dude, the Cardinals are first place in the NFC West. Are you sure they want to trade any pieces right now? Guys, you have to understand that you cannot go to teams that are competing for a potential spot in the playoffs or for the division. You understand the Cardinals are 5-4. The Cardinals are 5-4 in first place in the NFC West. Why would they trade away any of their players? You have to look at the 2-win teams. You have to look at the 3-win teams. Let me give you the teams you can look at that may potentially want to make a trade. I don't know about them, but you may want to phone up the Miami Dolphins. They might be willing to give something up. The New England Patriots is a team you probably look at to go make a call. The Las Vegas Raiders is a team you call up. Some people are going to call up the Browns. There was conversations or rumors that Zadarius Smith is getting traded to the Lions. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Call up the Browns. Call up the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call up the Tennessee Titans. These are teams that you call up at this point. Call up the New York Giants. That's what you should look to do. Call up the Panthers and call up the Saints. Those are teams you should go for. The Cardinals are 5-4 in first place in the NFC West. They're not trading their safety away. They're not. They're not. You look at the 1-win teams, the 2-win teams, even the 3-win teams at this point, you can call up. You don't call up teams that have a record above 500 and say, hey, can we have this guy? That's why people that were talking about Courtland Sutton, that discussion died when the Broncos started winning games. that we should trade Marcus Williams for Javon Holland if you can get something going. And I don't even know if they want Marcus Williams. You can't just trade away a player because you don't like him. Use this player in a trade to get that player. It doesn't work like that. Does that team want that player? You can't just throw away players that you don't want on your team and assume another team's going to want them. That's not how a trade works. There's a lot that goes into it. It has to be beneficial in some case for the other team you're trying to trade with. If they're not looking for a safety, why would they trade for Marcus Williams? Why would they even want to take that contract on? Not every franchise is dumb. They'll just take stupid trades. Now, if you're lucky to get one of them, by all means exploit them. But a lot of these franchises aren't dumb, and they're not going to take a player. They're not going to take a trade that's going to give them a player that doesn't help them out at all and has a contract that they don't want to take on. Dolphins want to blow it up. You don't even know if the Dolphins want to blow it up. You don't even know if the Dolphins want to blow it up. There hasn't really been much discussions about them wanting to blow it up. There's been rumors, but you don't even know if they want to. Call the Jets. The Jets is an interesting conversation. But again, with the way Aaron Rodgers has been talking, the Jets don't look like they want to blow it up. And after they just got that win, if you ask any Jet fan, well, actually, if you ask any delusional Jet fan, they're back on track. If you ask the New York Jets right now, they think that win they got against the Texans is going to boost them. They think they're back in this. The Jets beating the Texans on Thursday Night Football, beating a 6-2 team that was number 3 seed in the AFC. They beat that team. They feel like they're back on track. So the Jets they're not looking to trade anyone. The Jets aren't looking to trade anyone. Now, who knows? If Aaron Rodgers don't like Mike Williams is out of there. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't like Mike Williams is going. But anybody else from the Jets? Nah, they think they can get it. Yeah, and they got Riddick back too. He signed a 1-year deal. So, again, if the Jets feel like they can still compete, they're going to try to compete. They're not going to call it a season and start trading away everybody. No, it's not going to happen. Call the Cowboys for Parsons. Make the call. That's an interesting one. But at the end of the day, whenever you deal with Dallas, you understand you're not talking to the GM. You're talking to Jerry. Does Jerry want to trade away any of his players? That's another conversation. Does Jerry Jones want to trade away any of his players? Does he like Micah Parsons? And if he does, how much does he like Micah Parsons? The Cowboys are one of those teams that are icky, that are very, very iffy to deal with. Ooh, that nearly was picked off, or nearly was knocked out of Sam Darnold's hands. That could have been a fumble, but it gets to Justin Jefferson for the first down. When you're dealing with the Cowboys, you understand you're not dealing with the GM, right? You're dealing with Jerry Jones. If Jerry Jones likes a player, he's not trading him. Good luck. I mean, I think it's worth the conversation. I think the one thing you can't do as a GM is not pick up the phone. That's the one thing you can't do. Pick up the phone and make the call. If Jerry says no, you move on. The Bears aren't making that trade either. Again, the Bears aren't looking to make any trades. Once again, I will tell you this. Teams that are competing for a playoff spot are not going to trade away some of their players. The Bears are 4-4. They're not looking to make any trades right now. Please go to those 1 and 2 win teams and ask for some of their players. Do not go to a 4-4 Bears team that's trying to compete for a playoff spot. They're not interested in trading away a player. Chicago is not the team you call up. Feel free to make a call. They're not going to listen. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end it here. This isn't me. This isn't a space I've created, or this isn't a live stream where I'm here to just talk about trade scenarios. I just wanted to speak on the Ravens and Broncos game. Ravens got the win. They advanced to 6-3. They won 41-10. They got a short week, and they're going to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to take on the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday. We'll see what happens with that. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm cutting this off here. Only trades I believe would happen before the deadline. Steelers get a wide receiver like Mike Williams. Lions get a Zadarius Smith, which I think is going to happen. Dolphins trade Calais Campbell. Potentially could happen, etc. But who knows? We'll see. We got 48 hours to see how the trade deadline is going to go. Everything's going to get heated starting tomorrow, so we'll see how things go. But I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I will see you later. We got a short week, so obviously we got to talk about the Bengals. Sam Darnold's going to fire across the middle. It's going to be caught, but TJ Hawkinson's going to be dropped right there. It's going to be a punt, and the Colts are going to get the ball back. And that's going to probably lead to the end of the first quarter because there's 55 seconds left to go. So, Flacco, get your helmet back on and step right back on that field. You're needed once again. But, yeah, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I will talk to y'all later. We have to talk about... we got a few things to talk about, I guess. We technically still got to talk about the state of the AFC North. I don't think I did that last week. I was so busy with things last week, I missed my opportunity to talk about the state of the AFC North, which is unfortunate because I wanted to talk about them, but I was busy with a lot of things last week to set up for some other things this week. Can't talk about it. It's like personal stuff. But I was busy last week. And then the World Series was happening, and, the Dodgers beat the Yankees. There was so much happening during that time. So, yeah, I missed out on that, but I got to make sure we get the state of the AFC North. It's a bye week for the Steelers, so we can still talk about some things, but it is what it is. How about the Jags? Call up Jacksonville. They're not doing anything. They're definitely done for the season. Call up Jacksonville. Call up Jacksonville. That's probably a team you look at. Jacksonville is 2-. Yeah, call them up. They're a 2-win team. 2-win teams are absolutely the teams you want to call up for a trade because you don't even know what's going to happen. Ravens half a game back against the Steelers. The Ravens are going to have the lead before. I mean, if the Ravens beat the Bengals, they'll take first place again before the Steelers play. And then Baltimore and Pittsburgh face off against each other November 17th. So the Ravens I'm already saying beating like they've already won. The Ravens, after playing the Bengals, will play the Steelers. And we'll see what happens there. Josh Allen to the Ravens would feed families. I don't know if you can get a cornerstone. Josh Allen is their defense. I don't know if you're going to get a cornerstone piece like Josh Allen. That's a difficult one. That's one of the best pass rushers of the game. I don't know if you're going to get him, bro. I don't know if you're going to get him. Anyway, guys, the end of the first quarter is here between the Colts and the Vikings, and the end of my time on this stream has come. I appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. We'll keep talking this week, especially as the trade deadline winds down and as we get ready for Thursday Night Football against Cincinnati Bengals. We'll be prepared for that. So a lot's going to happen this week. We'll be in contact to talk, and we'll just see how things go. I'll see you guys later. You enjoy the rest of your night. I'm going to get some sleep because I got to go to work tomorrow. And, I'm not going to sleep now. I'm going to rest, get some food, chill out, and then go to sleep. But you guys be sure to stay safe, and peace out.